the sand and water activity is going to give students a chance to see how water can cause erosion without actually needing to know the term erosion just yet. It's a pretty simple activity. You're going to need some sand, and for this, think about it as if you're building sand castles. I spritzed it down a little bit with water so it'll pack in a cup. You can use a Dixie cup, a small Solo cup, it doesn't matter, but pack it down into a cup like you're building a sand castle. You're going to need something that you can have them dump it into because it will get just a little bit messy. And then they need a half a cup of water. You can just put that in a cup as well. Something that they can drop that water with, either pipettes, eyedroppers. And then they're going to use a paper clip to simulate a tree on their land. So the first thing, make sure they pack it in really good. Nice and moist will make sure that it holds its shape, and they're going to dump that directly into their container. If some of it spills, that's fine. But you should have a pretty nice size hill. At this point, they need to add their tree to the hill. So with a large paper clip, have them slightly unbend it, and that's going to act as the roots, and they're just going to place it right in the top. Before they actually begin dropping any of the water on their system, they need to make their initial observations. They're going to draw and describe what they see in block 1. So make sure that they don't get started before they actually make their initial observations. Once they've made their initial observations in block 1, they're going to simulate a rainstorm. So using their pipette, using their water, they're going to drop on 40 drops. Now, with some students, they don't always know what drops are. We want to just get the individual drops, not squirts of it. So they're going to need to hold it, and they're just going to drop 40 directly on the top. Once they've done that, they're going to once again stop. They're going to record their observations, this time in block 2, by drawing and observing as well. With that, you're going to see that the sand starts to compact down a little bit. You might get some areas that look like puddles on the surface of their sand, but it's not going to do enough that would cause an entire tree to fall over. So that was the rainstorm. For block 3, they're going to simulate a flood. So they'll use the remaining water that they have, so it should be roughly that half a cup still, and they're just going to kind of drop it all on top of everything. So they'll just go 1, 2, 3. And obviously now you know why we need to have a nice area to catch all of that water. But when that happens, they're going to once again stop. They're going to draw their observations, and they're going to record what they see. This time, we see it kind of completely fall apart. The tree fell over, so all the soil was brushed away from the roots, causing it to fall. They, once again, don't need to know what erosion actually means. We're going to talk about that later. In fact, the set of questions after this lab activity shouldn't be done until they've watched our video, and they will then get some of that terminology. So right now, we just want them to see the phenomenon of what happens when it rains and when it can flood.